I don't even have words to describe yesterday. Hello and welcome to Orlando Accomplice. I'm Becca.
And I'm Jake. And this is episode number 10.
What, a 10th episode?
We made it to number 10. So statistically, only all the statistics coming at you fast. Statistically is only 80%. I think I might even need to fact check this. It up. Only 80% of podcasts get past episode number 10. And also
what a big one to do 10 on.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, everything's landed perfectly this time. So hopefully karma's good and we're getting some more good luck. So yeah, episode number 10, and today we are going to be breaking down everything that happened yesterday. So we're recording the day after Epic Universe opening day. So yeah, we're going to break everything down for you. This is going to be completely spoiler free in terms of we will give you information on like quality of life, things that they've done at the parks, but we're not going to be saying this ride, we did this kind of thing. So yeah. Yeah,
and what's on the ride and etc. Like other than the generic stuff that's already out there that
you already know about and that Universal have kind of told people already. Just a heads up, you can see we are not in the studio. We are filming from sunny Orlando.
Yeah.
We are in Aventura Hotel, so if you hear people walking up and down, which you shouldn't be able to, we've got clip-on mics, but yeah, if you hear anything like that, or if there's a knock on the door, if we have to run away, or if the mics, the visuals don't
basically
look as
it's not going to be up to par that he would like it to be, and I'm sure you're all okay with that. It's just him.
We'll be back in the studio on the next episode.
Starting off, Bevs.
Yeah, trusty old
tradition. We've gone non-alcoholic today, so I have an Alani Nu Hawaiian shaved ice. I've not had this flavour before, but these are my favourite energy drinks when we are in America. We can get them in the UK, just rubbish flavours.
And I'm on the classic sugar-free Red Bull, which I drink every day at home anyway. I'm about to have my second, so if I start muttering
wafting
nonsense more than usual, it's probably because I'm having a caffeine attack.
I'll try and nip it in the bud if it starts rambling.
Just on that, just a disclaimer. So usual disclaimer is that we sometimes swear, we sometimes talk about things that you might not want younger children or younger people listening to, so just be aware of that. Last up on the disclaimers is that yes, these are all our own opinions. Feel free to disagree, agree. If you've been to Universal for Epic Universe for the previews, you might disagree with some of the things we're saying. But yeah, that's general disclaimers out of the way.
Yeah.
Last thing is just to plug is that we are visual and audio podcasts, so we have all the visuals up on YouTube. So if you're watching, hello.
Hi.
If you're listening, hello to you guys too. You can also catch us on audio only. For you people who don't have YouTube Premium, which we always say you should have YouTube Premium.
Yeah.
You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff.
Yeah. And if you want to follow along for the rest of our trip while we are here, we will be posting it on stories as much as possible. So give us a follow over on Instagram at Orlando Accomplice, and we also have TikTok, which is the same at Orlando Accomplice. So give us a follow. We're nearly at 1K on TikTok.
Nearly at 1K, like 8 followers off.
Yeah, and we're old, so TikTok's not really our jam, but we're trying.
Yeah, and we've been posting loads of stuff on there, and we've got loads of stuff coming. So yeah, go over there.
Just before we go in, if I sound like a bloke. Yeah. I can see Starfall racers, Stardust racers from our window. That is the reason I have no voice today.
Been screaming on it.
Yeah.
So there's some stuff to go through today.
This is really nice, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah.
What flavour is it?
Hawaiian shaved ice. I don't really know what constitutes Hawaiian shaved ice flavour, but it's a little bit coconutty, a little bit berry, strawberry, niceness.
Niceness.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got a couple of things to go through. So we're going to kind of walk through our day, how we went about it. We're going to reflect on the stuff that we did on those previous podcasts.
So if you haven't listened to that, go back and do that, because this might not make sense.
But then also you should be able to follow on if you've not listened to that. But yeah, on a previous episode we ranked the rides, ranked our most anticipated rides and lands. So
portals.
Yeah, the portals. So yeah, you can listen back to that and you can see how we compared it to and how we've changed his mind after actually being in each of the parks, each of the portals. And then we're going to just discuss his game plan and what we'd do next time. So yeah, there's going to be quite a lot of stuff to cover, but we're going to try and rattle through it because we are going to the parks.
We've got to go to Animal Kingdom in like an hour and a half.
That's going to be so weird, swapping from Universal, brand new park, to
We've
Disney.
still got nostalgia in that Disney park though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Anywho, what we're starting with.
Yeah, so setting the scene, so we're going to say, like, we try not to timestamp stuff or make stuff that's going to like become outdated in like a couple of weeks kind of thing. So we like to kind of set the scene so then you guys can kind of get into our headspace. So opening day, Epic Universe, we went in with express passes thinking that it was going to be absolutely heaving, which it was so quiet, wasn't it?
Like, we got through to the park, and backstory, if you've not listened to the last podcast, we are with our family members on this trip. Me and Jake have annual passes, whereas our family members, the other four, had the 14-day ticket, which allowed 1 day entry at Epic Universe, but did not specify which day. So it was kind of like, we tried to get there early, but not too early, to still allow them entry. Like, we didn't want them turned away at the gate. So we sent them through the ticket scanning in first. They had no issue, but when we first turned up, we were like
Walked straight
gobsmacked.
through, didn't we?
Like, yeah, I was like expecting to be like held at the gate, queue a mile long. If anybody's seen that picture when they opened Hogwarts, Hogsmeade in Islands of Adventure, and they're queuing City Walk the full length of it, like, I was expecting that level. We knew, well, rumours were that they'd capped capacity. We didn't know what to believe because Universal had never
actually said that they were capping capacity.
Yeah, they'd never formally announced anything. But when we walked up,
it was
like
so
going
crazy.
to a normal theme park that had been open for years.
Yeah. There was a lot of press there.
Yeah.
But we're kind of jumping ahead a little bit. But yeah, so the reason that we wanted to go on opening day is because we wanted to experience like history almost.
Be a part of history.
And like we booked this trip as soon as the date came out of the Epic Universe opening day. So originally we were looking at like May time anyway, and we thought we might have just missed opening day. And then I think it was like maybe a couple of weeks later, when we were still looking at pricing of the trip, is when they announced that the opening day of Epic Universe. So then we were like, let's book it for this time. So we wanted to, like I said, wanted the whole experience. And for me to kind of compare it to kind of the things that I've done previously that were similar was like, I used to be a massive nerd in terms of playing video games, and I got addicted to a game called League of Legends, for any of you who know that game, and it got stupidly addictive. But then they did like a event in London, and I'd gone down with a couple of friends, and the whole experience there was like everyone was there for the same reason. Everyone was just enjoying being around people who were sharing the same like passion for this certain thing. So that's what I was kind of envisioning with the opening day of Epic, and like I say, I wanted to be there for making history. So that's why we decided to go with opening day, because we could have gone for previews, which I didn't think they were going to do previews, but we talked about that in his last episode. And yeah, just the vibe in the park was just
unmatched.
Crazy, wasn't it?
Unmatched, yeah.
And like I say, there were lots of cameras there. All the news crews were there. They had news desks set up, like full lighting rigs, massive cameras everywhere.
But it wasn't like in your face.
Yeah, they were kind of around the outside.
Yeah.
And like we said, we went to the security, and it felt so strange because it was like we just walked straight
through. But all the
through.
Security were just buzzing and making jokes. Like, they were making us dance when we walked through.
Yeah, when you did the metal detector.
Yeah. It was like, right, put your hands up, and then he tried making your mum like, he was like, right now, wiggle your hips.
So yeah, it was a
lot of fun. Just entering the park. very easy, very easy.
And for those people who were kind of in the know and like keeping track on how things were, wait times were ridiculously low. Like it was to the point where, like we said, we had express passes, and like we used it
3 times.
3 times, and both times we used it on rides. It was, oh no, one time we got through quicker than the normal line. We used it the end of the day on Starfall races, and the standby queue was quicker than the express queue. And then we used it for one of the shows.
Stardust races.
Stardust.
I just have to clarify. I keep messing it up because they were going to go with Starfall races, but another company over here already had that name, so it was trademarked, so they changed the name Stardust races. If we say it wrong, sorry.
If you say it wrong, then it's the other one. And last thing, kind of like to set the scene, is that we didn't get to ride Ministry. So when we go to rankings, I've ranked it to where I think it would go.
Oh, I've left it out.
Maybe left
I've
it
just
out.
done 10.
Okay. And then it was just kind of the backstory on how Ministry's how it was yesterday. It was rammed at the start. It went straight up to 180 minutes when we checked.
I don't think I ever saw it that low. I saw it at 100 minutes, but that was like towards the end of the day.
And then it went up to 5 hours.
5 hours.
And then
why are you waiting that long for a ride? Come on, nothing's worth that.
But if you've ridden it and you think it's worth 5 hours, let us know.
Yeah, please, because I highly disagree with you.
Yeah. And then so that was up for 5 hours, and then it went down for maybe 3 hours.
Yeah, a long time. We don't know if people stayed in the line for that and kind of stayed in there and waited. We don't know. But general overview of capacity. The rumour has it they capped it at 15k. I don't know. Even so, it didn't even feel like 15,000 people were in that theme park. It was so relaxing to wander around and just not be banging shoulders with people, not having pushchairs rammed in the back of your legs. Yeah.
I said this to a friend of mine this morning who sent us a voice note, and I said to him, like, I don't think I had to avoid someone once.
No,
like,
never had to dodge anyone.
Person.
But now
which is going to be a massive difference.
Been spoiled.
Yeah.
We have been spoiled. So when that park opens it is open today to general population, no opening day palaver. I don't know what to expect, but now we're going to go into Magic Kingdom and be...
be crammed. And we're going to have
Not
to
Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been spoiled. Universal nailed that opening day.
Yeah, they absolutely smashed it.
Yeah.
And how much criticism I gave him on the last podcast. You've
Eat
made
your words,
up for it.
bro.
So we're going to break down how his day went now, and kind of like day to day. So we got there about 7:10, and like we said, it was such a vibe going through security, walking into the portal. There were a lot of content creators there yesterday, and there were like people that. So obviously, being in this space, you see people, and we watch other YouTubers or whatever.
You're like, oh, that's so and so.
But then it's a case of, it's like there's people that we follow on social media, and like we didn't see them. And then there's people who, like, then there's people that you wouldn't expect to be content creators or you've never seen before, all had, like, DJIs were going insane.
Some people just have them for their own
enjoyment, I guess.
Yeah.
A lot of gimbals, a lot of big cameras, which I was like, oh, that person's got what lens you got, bro? Kind of thing. And then...
Of course he was like that.
Yeah.
You'd just be walking down, and then like 2 minutes later you'd be like, where's Jake gone? And he's like 9 miles behind us all taking photos. But we got some very, very good photographs. Thank you very much. Yes. If you want to see those, go over to Instagram.
So I made a little camera reel before breaking down the lens that I was taking, and I wanted to be like, say, small light, and I wanted to move about, and I'd be able to take as many photos as I can. And I think the end count was like 1,238 photos or something, which then I edited last night, and then they're going up today. So that's another thing you can see on his Instagram. So load of camera people walking about. Everyone was just on such a vibes as we walked in. Photos of all the was it called Kronos? Is that what it's called?
The Kronos,
yeah,
is the big opening Epic Universe sign with all the little medallions on it.
So everyone taking photos there. Going into the park, and we kind of had Celestial Park, which is the middle hub area. We kind of had that free to roam about. So there were
for the first hour or so.
Yeah. So there was like there was holding sections in each start of each of the portal, and then there was like Starbucks were open and stuff like that. So we went and grabbed a coffee, and just had a walk around, kind of got us bearings. Saw Starfall racers running, but it obviously didn't have people in.
Yeah. And then each portal, so they announced there would be an opening ceremony at 8 a.m. where they would start allowing people into the portals. And as Jake said, there was holding areas at each portal. Each portal individually had their own opening ceremony, which you could hear from no matter where you were, which was so cool. Like, I nearly cried at multiple points yesterday, which is so sad, I know. But so we went to Super Nintendo World because that was where Jake wanted to start. That was his preference, and the rest of us weren't really bothered. But now seeing what I saw, I kind of am.
Okay.
I wish I was at Dark Universe for that.
So when we saw the opening ceremony, we couldn't see anything because of where we were in the queue, because they were like full of people.
Yeah.
And then they brought characters out, didn't they?
Yeah.
During the ceremony.
But there was this big. The sound was projected across the theme park.
Yeah.
And each ceremony's sound you could hear from no matter where you were. Mm-hmm. So, for example, I think Dark Universe started.
Yeah.
They had black fireworks.
Yeah, that were cool.
What? Wow.
Tell you what though, it did make me think of like Death Eaters. I don't know why.
Yeah. And then it went round the park for each opening ceremony. So Nintendo World, Harry Potter, How to Train Your Dragon. And then the portals were open.
Yep.
And we were free to go in and explore.
So we kind of got in the portals maybe 8:15, would you say? I
don't know, I wasn't really checking time at that point.
And like everyone were cheering, it was like say such a good atmosphere.
It was a vibe.
As I say, it felt festival-like.
Yeah.
So then we went into Super Nintendo World first, and then we went straight to the back for Minecart Madness.
I think that was the point when I knew it wasn't going to be as busy as what we'd anticipated. Anticipated, because you got in there and it was just like you weren't sardined in. Yeah, you are going in the portal because we picked the worst portal to start on, in my opinion, because you had to be funneled up escalators.
Yeah, very true.
Or the lift.
Yeah.
Which probably slowed it down a bit, but then we explored around Super Nintendo World and then went straight to Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah, so we went to ride Minecart Madness, and that was the longest wait we had to wait, and it was like half an hour.
Yeah.
So we did see Minecart actually go down from half an hour to like 10 minutes, and then later on in the day we rode the ride again, and we just asked the cast member, can we go around again?
And they were like, yeah.
So we've ended up doing that 3 times.
But the reason why we rope dropped that ride is because there were 3 rides, that weren't on the Express Pass, and our mindset was, right, well, we'll utilise that first. So there was Minecart Madness, Ministry of Magic, and
the Racer ride.
Yeah, Dragon Racers Rally in Isle of Burke.
Yeah.
So, and that was, like Jay said, that was the longest we waited all day for anything.
Which is crazy. And then after we'd done that, we did Mario Kart, didn't we?
Yep.
And then just had a bit of a wander around the Super Nintendo World. Like I say, I was taking a load of photos, kind of seeing everything, soaking it all in, and it was so good because we had like that first initial walk to Donkey Kong Country, which is kind of in the back of Nintendo World. There were just like people cheering, and like all the cast members, all the team members were clapping, and it felt like, you know, them videos of people going to pick the first iPhone up.
No.
You don't remember that?
No.
Everyone in Apple Store clapping.
Oh God.
Yeah, so it was like, they were like that, and so funneled into the back, but then we just took it all. We went to like look at everything, and they've like this will be a theme across all of the lands. It's just like this smashed them out the park.
They have nailed that theme in.
Even the ones that we thought, oh, we're not that bothered about, once you actually went into them, it was insane. So from then, Nintendo World, we did Yoshi's as well, didn't we?
Yeah, we did Yoshi's Adventure, and then we went across to Isle of Berk because we knew that was where we were probably going to spend a lot of time yesterday, and we were right.
Yeah,
we
said that, didn't we?
Like you said in the last podcast, the most completed land that they've got going. And I'd probably say it is the biggest one with the most to do.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But yeah, once we'll go into the rides and stuff in more detail when we revisit our ranking. But once we'd finished Isle of Berk, we then went over to Dark Universe, purely because we saw that Monsters Unchained was and The Curse of the Werewolf were a 10-minute wait. So we were like, let's just go.
And at this point, we were still like, the wait times are going to go up.
Yeah.
We didn't think that we thought they were going to move, and we thought, why is it still so quiet?
And at that point, everything just plateaued.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah. So going into Dark Universe, which was the land that you was most anticipated for, weren't you?
Yes. I won't spoil that yet.
Yeah, well, like I said, we'll do more of a breakdown of each place when we start ranking them.
Yep.
And then from there, we went to Pizza Moon.
Yeah, had a little break.
Yeah.
Got some food.
Pizza, which was actually really, really good pizza. Went there and then had a bit of a rest, and then we went to... Where did we go?
Harry Potter,
yeah. And then...
Which surprised me.
Yeah, I was really surprised about Harry Potter as well. And we said in this last podcast we were kind of a bit sick of Harry Potter. But what they've done is,
I was expecting it to be smaller than what it was. I was expecting it to be tighter than what it was. Like, the roads are really wide. It's just from the aerial shots that you see from, like, Bio-Reconstruct and stuff. It looked like you were going down an alley.
That's what I was just about to say, that we said it was going to be tight because of them.
And Diagon Alley is quite tight, so I thought it was going to be the same. But no, it's very spacious in there.
Yeah.
And lots of pockets to explore.
Loads of pockets. And just like attention to detail in all of these lands were insane.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something then. I completely.
Well, we went after Harry Potter.
Yeah. So it's like our kind of representation now might be different in terms of like even the lands. So like we're saying that it might not be, it didn't feel tight.
But it might be when it's full capacity. Yeah.
And same with like Isle of Berk, I was thinking there's a lot of outdoor spaces, a lot of outdoor queues, so it's going to get pretty hot.
It was hot anyway.
Yeah, if you stood outside waiting for quite a lot of these things. And yeah, kind of also on the whole waiting stuff is like some of the queue areas are so immersive and there's so much detail in them. But it's like we didn't really get to experience it that much because we were kind of not running to the rides, but we're just walking through the queue.
Well, yeah, you didn't stop.
Yeah.
So you didn't
but
stop.
Yeah, it shows how quiet it was. We didn't stop.
Yeah. Like even some of them, which we'll get into, didn't have the pre-shows running because there was no point.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Mario Kart, like the queue for that. Like there was so many little
Easter eggs and stuff like that. Yeah.
And then after Harry Potter, what did we do?
Did we go back to... Because we did the show in Harry Potter, didn't we?
Yes.
And that was kind of, whilst we were waiting for the show, we kind of discussed what we're planning to do. And like, some of us members of his party were getting a bit tired. And they were like, oh, well, we could finish stuff by a certain time and then go and nip back to the pool. But we were like, well, we want to stay there full time because, like we say, when we come back in September, we're not going to be able to... Probably not going to have this experience again. Not even just because
luxury.
Exactly. Not even because it's not going to be opening day anymore, but just because we're not going to have the luxury of the wait times.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to be like that again.
Yeah. Which makes yesterday so special.
When everybody was like coming for the previews. We had like massive FOMO of have we made the right decision holding out for opening day, and people saying, oh, opening day is going to be absolutely horrendous if this is what the previews are like. I'm so glad that we stuck to our guns and didn't book the previews. Because
we panicked, didn't we? And we were like, oh, these are probably going to be able to ride stuff quicker than what it's going to be too busy on opening day.
And just for the vibe of it being, you know, it's grand opening. But we dispersed at that point, separated from our group for a little bit. Some of us went to some shops, some of us went to grab a coffee. Me and Jake went and grabbed a Starbucks and just went round the main shops in Celestial Park, and then we met back up at Super Nintendo World because we saw that Minecart Madness was down to 10 minutes. So we went back on that. And then what did we do?
So we rode them twice, and then did we do that?
Oh yeah, we rode that twice. We got off and he was like, "Do you want to go again?" And we were like,
"Yeah, just let's go again." And just on, like I say, we're going to break down the lands, but I don't know why second time going into Donkey Kong's country, and just like the sounds in there, it's like everyone was just doing this dance.
Yeah, everybody was just
jiving.
Yeah.
This old guy, and he was like full on going for it.
It was so cute in there.
Yeah, proper good vibes. And then we went back over to
we went on Stardust Races again.
Yeah, we did.
Isle of Berk, went back there, did some rides there.
We did some and
then we went to Stardust Races. Like I say, we're not going into too much detail about that now because we will talk about the rides when we rank them. And then we went and had a little pit stop by the fountains, grabbed a drink from Celestiki, which is one of the bars in Celestial Park, and just sat, took our shoes off for a bit, had a breather, and then the sun started to set. So my priority of the day was to be in Dark Universe at dark fall when the sun was setting. And take all that in. So we went and did the rides again in there, and then we stuck about to see the Burning Blade Tavern light up and set on fire, to see the manor be all electrified. That land is incredible at night. Incredible. Yeah.
And then by that time, the sun had set.
It was the last hour.
And then we just walked a bit through Celestial Park, and
which
took
is stunning at night. The electricity bill of that park. And then the priority was to end the day on Stardust Races again, because we just wanted to ride that at night. We know how good Velocicoaster feels at night, and that is like two comets racing each other, so it was lit up, looked super cool. So we ended the day on that ride.
Which
that took us to 10 o'clock.
It was strange, that last ride, because we noticed that yellow was the least popular.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Are we going to get into that? Okay, right. So that's our day done. We'll go into ranking.
So what we ranked in our previous episode to what we rank them now. We've been on every ride but one. Yeah. So we've been on 10 out of the 11. I took Ministry out of my ranking because it's not fair to rank it if we've not been on it.
Yeah. Did you do your lands as well?
Yes. Okay. Look at mine.
So do you want to do what we did before, where you rank what you think mine is?
No, I'll just... I've got your lands ranked. I've not ranked your rides.
Yeah, ranked. Lands, sorry.
So do you want to do lands first?
Yeah. So I ranked yours the same as what I ranked. As in, I think your ranking's going to be the same as what I ranked yours last episode.
All right. Which was?
Which was Celestial Park 5, Super Nintendo World 4, Harry Potter 3, How to Train Your Dragon 2, Dark Universe 1.
Okay.
Did you do the same for me?
I've just done what I thought you would want.
Yeah. What did you think I'd want?
So last time, I feel like the way you've just read it out to me was too quick. I do apologise.
Sorry.
So last time I said Jake's number 1 would be Super Nintendo World, and I stuck with that, but specified Donkey Kong Country as your number 1. Like, not
Ride
Super
wise.
Nintendo World, Donkey Kong as your number 1.
Okay.
Because technically that is a portal within a portal. Then number 2, I picked Isle of Berk last time, and I've stuck with that. I think it was number 2.
Yeah.
Then Third last time I said you would rank Ministry of Magic. Now I've swapped this to Dark Universe. That's wrong. And then fourth I said Celestial Park, and this time, excuse me, I thought Ministry was fourth. And then finally, last time I said Dark Universe, and I think you'd rank Celestial Park as in fifth place. So tell me your order.
So my order actually didn't change from previous either.
Okay,
so both me thinking about yours and mine.
Okay, so what was yours?
So Celestial Park number 5.
We're going backwards, okay?
Yeah.
For you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want to do your number 5?
My number 5 was Super Nintendo World.
Was it?
Yeah.
And did you think Starfall was the reason that you put it above? Or did you have Super Nintendo World as 5 last time as well?
I didn't write mine down because I just knew what they were.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, why would you say Super Nintendo World 5?
We've seen it before. That's I remember saying that. Not in person, just through social media. If we were ranking for like 6, because technically there's a portal in a portal, then I would have ranked it higher. But
would you put Donkey Kong higher?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's small.
It is small. Yeah, it is pretty small.
It's so well done. All of them are. It's just obviously something had to come last, and that's it.
Yeah. And look, just on like this, how everything's small. Like there was when we first found out about it, they were saying, "Oh, it's as big as Magic Kingdom," but with how easy it is to get around each of the.
You means the whole park, not just
the whole park.
Mario.
How easy it is to get around each portal. It feels like quite small.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it is just because of how easy it is to.
I think they've just laid it out very, very, very well.
Yeah. But yes,
okay.
Super Nintendo World is pretty small. I found that it was quite stair heavy. Very stair heavy, actually.
Yeah. There is lifts and obviously mobility access. It's just for the general population. There's a lot of stairs and.
Yeah.
So it's a two-tier portal. Okay, so.
Yes. So my 5 was Celestial Park.
Really? Why?
Which, just because I loved Starfall, Stardust, whatever it's called.
Stardust Races.
But then, and I did like how it was stunning at night. And like I say, one does have to come up last.
Yeah.
And I think the carousel, we're going to talk about that. I thought that's like, I feel like sometimes it's a bit of a wasted space. Like they've got the middle of the park. They could have done something bigger, but then it's something different. Then I guess it's what could they have done?
I'm just a sucker for fairy lights and twinkly things.
Yes. And I guess it's like, it's a circle. So it's like, what can you put in a circle space? But I guess it's like, it might have taken a lot of brain power to find something that's quite creative that would have taken that spot.
Yeah.
And just kind of like, it is just basically the hub bit for me. It's just like a walkway.
Okay.
Number 4, do you want to
go? So my number 4 was Ministry of Magic.
Okay.
Partly because, I don't know, I was just... It exceeded what I thought it was going to be. Like we said earlier, it was bigger. The attention to detail, it was just another Harry Potter land for me. The show, amazing. Go see the show. That was great. But I'm glad we didn't spend stupid amounts of time in that land.
And to be fair, we didn't spend that much time in the land, did we?
There was like good street atmosphere, there was music. It just, like, it was incredibly crowded by the Ministry ride because the queue was extending outside at points, and people, like, were just, congregating, waiting for people to get off the ride and stuff. It was to scale. Everything was to scale.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like just things have to come in the order of priority for us.
And I put Harry Potter fourth.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, similar reasons to you, babe. But then, as I say, we didn't spend that much time there. It kind of felt like we'd seen it all before in terms of like there were quite a few buildings that you could go into, but all of them were shops. And all of them were
so if you've seen the Harry Potter merchandise, all of it, other than like the sweets and stuff, were specifically like French Wizarding World sweets, but they're all disgusting in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think they were amazing.
The chocolate is absolutely rancid. If you like them chocolate frogs,
I swear they used to be good.
Eat Cadbury's, please.
But I agree. And like, I just felt that it was a bit...
I call them fibbing wibbies. What were they called?
I can't remember. Fizzies, something.
The popping candy chocolate.
Yeah. Might even be called
I don't know.
Fizzing Whizbies.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah, they were awful.
The only things I want to try are the Bertie Bott's beans, and that's only to like play the game of like what flavour have you got, but... I wouldn't go there wanting a nice tasting treat unless it's from like the bakery case. But yeah, like Jake said, a lot of it's like stud facades of buildings. You can't really explore in them.
Which like the facades are super cool.
They are.
And like I'm a bit of a sucker for a sign and like a poster.
Yeah, there's plenty of that about.
And there's so much of that about.
And just go and look in some of the windows. There's some cute little fantastic beasts to spot around, obviously, because that is what that land is based upon.
And we're big fans of Fantastical Beasts.
I wouldn't say big fans, but we liked the films. We weren't haters of the Fantastic Beasts franchise. And
I wish they'd carry it on.
I thought they were good.
They had a 5-film deal or something, and then they stopped after 3. But I think they should have kept going. And especially with how popular like merchandise is, like I feel like they can afford to flop a couple of films.
I don't know.
But yeah, going on to number 3 was, unfortunately, Dark Universe, and like we keep saying, one has to they have to be in an order.
So I was right by saying that Dark was your third.
Yeah.
But you went,
Yeah, I was poker face.
Oh, that's not nice, is it?
So yeah, I say one has to come in a particular order.
My heart is broken. I'm filing divorce, guys.
And just for me, it was just like the other two kind of topped it, but like I could have put this between third and second were pretty tight.
Yeah.
And just attention to detail in all the lands just make them all so good. Even someone who's not that kind of passionate about that certain thing, but. Yeah, for me, comes third because of that, and then also I think the storyline of the main attraction in the land, that's not a spoiler, is insane, and I think that they could play on that more, which could.
They do.
They do play on it quite a lot, but then I think that they could spread it throughout the whole land, and they could almost have you in this immersive kind of war, if that makes sense. You're thinking in your head now, they could do this, they could do that, couldn't they?
Yeah, but that would involve digging down.
They could do that. They could. Do you know what I mean? They could do all kinds
I'm not going to spoil that because that is part of the ride's backstory. Yeah. But if you know,
they could do so much with it, and I feel like they've already created a bit of a storyline in the head with it, and I think they can just push it more. And I think if they did that, I know I've listened to a couple of other podcasts. Shout out Jay from Universally Speaking, but he was saying that it's not that much of a big thing, but then they've pushed it onto a lot of people, and it is quite a cult classic. But I think if they did play on the storyline and fully pushed it and took its to its full potential, I think a lot of people would get into it then. So yeah, that's what I think it's third.
Okay. My third was Celestial Park.
Oh, okay. How do you get to that conclusion?
Did you not? What did you give me?
No, how did you get to that?
How did I get to that? Absolutely stunning at night time. Absolutely stunning. The ride, Stardust Racers, obviously I won't go into too much detail because we need to rank the rides yet. Yeah, that all plays a factor. I think the part where you can just sit and relax and watch the water fountains that are constantly going. There's plenty of bars around. There's 2 Starbucks locations. I just think they've nailed that hub for that part. And the whole like celestial mythology around it, I just think it's really cool. Yeah.
Kind of going off that as well, is that like, as much as we're saying how good it was that we were quiet, it did feel a bit weird sometimes that like...
Why? Oh, sorry, I'm just knocking my microphone.
It felt like obviously it's made to be really busy, and because it wasn't busy, it just felt a bit strange. Like,
I don't think it did. I want it to be like that every time I go, please.
Well, yeah, I'd like to say I'm not complaining. It was just like one of them that, like, you'd walk past a lot of restaurants and they were just like, there were like just people out, like the staff members just outside, just like kind of trying to entertain themselves because they didn't have people coming 24/7. Like,
well, there was that, and some of it wasn't open yet. Because it's not at, final phase of that being completed. There's still certain quick service that are open.
Yeah.
But I can see the vision.
Yeah, see the vision. So...
Number 2?
Yeah. What was my number 2? It's on my phone. Number 2 was Super Nintendo World. And just basically because number 1 kind of trumps it.
Did not see this twist.
Yeah, Super Nintendo World, that like... I kind of said in the... I mean, you figured out what number 1 is now. But yeah, I just think Super Nintendo World was everything that I kind of wanted it to be, but I did find it a little small, like you were saying, babe. And we're gonna rank the rides, but the rides aren't not as good as what I thought they were gonna be. They're just like, they are all different, but they're all kind of not really catered for me, who's more of a like thrill seeker, I guess.
Yeah.
Whereas the other rides in some
you
of
are
the
forgetting children play computer games.
Oh yeah, and are into Mario now because of the films and all that stuff. Whereas like, what is it, a 35-year-old franchise or maybe more?
Yeah, it's nostalgia though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. It's very stacked. Everything just felt stacked on top of each other in there. Yeah.
Which was good in terms of like, you could feel
overstimulating.
Yeah, it really was. It was almost like if they built Superhero Island up rather than spread it out.
There was a lot of sounds, a lot of different sounds going on, a lot of different colours. It was sensory overload in there.
Yeah.
So my number 2, I don't want it to be number 2, but someone had to trump it. Isle of Berk, insane. Like, I think I'd tie this first.
Yeah.
But for the sake of rules, I can't. That land is... If you could walk into the TV screen, that is that land. They have everything down to a T.
Yeah, they nailed it.
Yeah. I mean, you can piggyback off this because we know what your number 1 is.
Yeah, my number 1's Isle of Berk. And like I did say this with like in the other podcast, that it was going to be the most complete one in my eyes. And I do feel like it has been. And it was the one that kind of, we wasn't really bothered about How to Train Your Dragon, and
like
we discussed that before. Whereas now it's like such a integral, and like just like the film score and like the score throughout the land.
I mean, that score has been dubbed like Epic Universe's soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like,
because it's so good. I need to figure out who actually wrote the score, but yeah, it's insane. And then, like I was saying about Nintendo World being like, not all the rides were catered to me, or like this one in Isle of Berk, I felt like even though they're not entirely catered to me, that like they were all different and they all had something really unique about them. Yeah. And it was a really, really good experience. And like we'll talk about that more when we ride the rides. The show's amazing.
Yeah, go and see that show. Do not sleep on that show. I audibly gasped.
Yeah.
At multiple points.
And like even like we're going back to the score again, and just like the music, it's just like
pulls your heartstrings,
Yeah,
man.
it really does, and it grips you in, and like they know they've planned it perfectly when they're going to use it. And like, I think meeting Toothless was one of the hardest things to kind of do because of how
that didn't
long
drop
it took.
Below 45 minutes. Like 45 minutes was the lowest.
All day, 45 minutes, yeah.
Your sister got to meet Toothless, but that was like right at the end of the day. At the day, it was dark, and it was a push to get on Stardust Races just after it. And I think she waited around half an hour.
And all like just another like little thing that just stood out was just like all the people's uniforms, all the staff members, and just like it felt so immersive, and like all the lands did, but that more than anything. And
like there's characters walking around. You don't have to queue to meet those.
Yeah, and
I'm sure you might have seen who it is, but for the sake of people that haven't, we won't say who. Yeah. But
and almost like in Galaxy's Edge in Hollywood Studios, like the fact that the stormtroopers are walking about, and it's like it feels like you're living in it.
Yeah. And everything is to scale. Like, to put it into perspective, we are at Adventura now, which is a good 2-3 miles away from Epic Universe. We can see Helios Grand and the top of Stardust Races, but I can see the mountain from Isle of Berk as the biggest thing.
Yeah.
That's how insanely large that land is.
Yes, your number one, babe?
My number one, if you have not guessed, is the number one I picked the first time, is Dark Universe. Yeah. Oh my God, like my reaction of when I rounded that corner and saw that manor and the scale of it, and that was in daylight as well.
I do think that's probably I think the manor is the most impressive icon in each of the portals.
Do you think?
Yeah. But yeah, I thought, to be fair, Isle of Berk were going to pip it for you. But the fact that it's pip it to the post.
Pip it.
But the fact that it hasn't
so
kind of shows how good it was.
But that's my deep-rooted love for horror and all things dark. Is the only thing that kind of sunk the claws in to keep it where it was. But that at night, do it. Don't not go back at night time. Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay, so that's all those lands ranked, and like tried not to spoil anything, and that we've shown you what we did in each of the lands. Now we're going to talk about the rides, which again we're going to do the same thing. Like, we're not going to be spoilery.
Try and do it as quickly as possible, but giving you as much information as possible, because we are running out of time to go to Animal Kingdom. And
we don't want this to be super long for you guys.
Well, our podcasts have never been shorter than an hour anyway, and if you enjoy that and stay listening to the end, thank you very, very much.
And let us know how, like, if these are the right length of podcasts.
Would you like shorter podcasts?
Yeah, like more frequent, shorter ones, but
Okay, are we starting from the bottom to top?
Yeah, let's go bottom to top.
Okay.
So
we've got 10, not 11, purely because we didn't get to ride Ministry.
I've got 11, so I'm going to just take that out.
Okay, do you want me to go first then?
I'll just kind of say where it is. So I'll do that at the end. Okay. Yeah, number 10 then.
Number 10 for me. In the previous episode, before going, I ranked Dragon Racers Rally as number 10, right? Today, after going to Epic Universe, Constellation Carousel is my number 10. Oh my God, that was just like a normal carousel is better than that.
Yeah.
Like the carousel in Islands of Adventure, Carousel is more fun than that. That was, you just felt awkward sat on it. Like there's, we won't input the clip because we want to get this up as quick as we can, so we don't want to be adding in additional clips.
We don't want to show you as well.
Yeah, but Jake just looked like an absolute idiot in that ride. Like, he was just sat there all straight back, like...
Yeah, everyone knows what a carousel is. And like, that's what I made the point earlier. Like, I feel like it's a bit of a wasted space, but it's like, what do you put there? And
it took so long to load people onto that, because they have to go around and check everybody's individual seatbelts. Yeah. And because you're not in just rows of like a straight ring, everybody's like scattered about everywhere.
And I don't think it's that big either.
It took so long.
Yeah.
Like we waited longer on the ride than getting on the ride itself.
Yeah, we did.
The music was bizarre.
The music was bizarre.
But that's what made it funny.
Yeah. So when we was watching the other people whilst we were waiting for it to load,
no one was happy.
No, yeah, everyone. It was like quite tranquil kind of music playing.
Yeah.
And then like the one that we got on was like really upbeat, so it was really weird. But it didn't like feel like it fit. And, like,
I'm laughing. It was funny.
It was funny because of the situation
and the people we were with were just making the best of the situation. But
like one of his party was like, I'm not going on this because look how miserable everyone looks, and we were like, you've got to do it, like you've got to tick it off. So, and like this morning, a friend of mine sent me a video from another person's Instagram of me on the ride, and I just looked so miserable. But like, it wasn't like he's still having fun, but
kids
still,
will love it. Like very small children will love it. But
I can see it being pretty. Well, to be fair, in the end at night time, it were like 35-minute wait.
But the lady who was operating the ride did tell us to come back at night. It's better at night, and I understand that. I bet the underneath of the carousel would be amazing at night, but there's things I'd rather do.
Yeah. So number 10 for me was...
Don't tell me you've ranked anything above that.
No, sorry. It's because I've got 11 still here.
Right.
So, I had Constellation Carousel.
Yeah.
And then my number 9 is Yoshi's.
Yes, me too. But I had Constellation Carousel as number 9 previously.
I had Dragon Race as well as number 9.
Yoshi.
Yeah.
It's so cute. It's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really get the egg thing.
We didn't even bloody find one of the eggs. The blue egg. So if anyone knows where the blue egg is, let me know, because it's going to haunt me.
I mean, people know what this ride is. You go around, it's kind of like High in the Sky Seuss Trolley in Seuss Landing, and you go around and there's Yoshi eggs about, and you've got to hit the coloured button that correlates with the egg. Mm-hmm. But the buttons were lighting up after you'd seen eggs, but you didn't get it.
Yeah, I think it was just a little bit of a gimmicky thing.
You've got to have something for really small children, and that's what that ride is.
Yeah.
And it's good views of Super Nintendo World.
That was the best part of the ride, the fact that you could see everything and you could see everyone walking about.
Yeah.
And it was good for being able to take photos as well.
Yeah.
Unique angles. What's your number 9?
The same.
You're the same, yeah?
Yeah.
Next one?
8. So number 8, last time I had Fire Drill in Isle of Burke.
Yeah, so did I.
And number 8 now I've got Dragon Racers Rally. Which I think I said in the last podcast, I probably wouldn't go on it because it looks really scary and spinny.
Yeah. Well.
We went on it, and you operate your own spin. We could not get it to spin.
No. And
I was flapping my arms about, like trying to lean into it, and But some kids, I think the lighter you are, the easier it must be to spin. Mm-hmm. It's not as scary as it looks at all.
For my number 9, this will probably shock you. Number 8, sorry, is Mario Kart. I didn't really understand what was going on.
And this comes from somebody who plays Mario Kart quite often.
Like, I understand that you had to throw shells and get coins, which I did pretty well. I got 130, which was higher than everyone else in the party.
Only by a point, can I just add. I got 129,
you
and I'm crap at Mario Kart in real life.
I just didn't feel like you were racing. It kind of felt like a shooter more than anything. And I didn't quite understand the steering. So yeah, I've put that there. And it gave me a bit of an headache. I don't really deal well with VR. It was a kind of a long wait time. I preferred the whole experience of walking through the queue.
The queue was insane, like so many Easter eggs.
And then, so that's my number 9.
Okay.
Number 8.
Number 7 for me, I ranked last time Mario Kart, and it is the same.
Okay.
Like we just said, the queue, really immersive. Like, if you just want to go look at the queue, I definitely would recommend going into Bowser's Castle and seeing what that's all about. it was overstimulating in terms of like, you didn't know where to look. The headset hurt my head.
Yeah.
I felt a bit sick getting off it. And it just, you're supposed to steer into the arrow, but like it steers itself.
Yeah, I don't think there's point of it. Like I say, it felt more like a shooter. And
there's 4 of you in the cart, so what happens if I turn my steering wheel one way and you go the other? It's still going to go the way it needs to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's massively sensory overload. Yeah. There's that much sounds and, yeah. It is. Do you know what it reminded me of? Cat in the Hat. But with like a headset on.
Yeah.
So that was my number 7.
But we kind of knew it was going to be like that anyway, didn't we?
Yeah. It's very slow as well.
Yeah. My number 8 was number 7 is Fire Drill. Mainly because it was fun, a load of fun. You do get wet though, like really wet, and that's not a spoiler because that's helping you guys out, because we went on, oh, you don't get that wet. I got soaking.
I had my phone in my pocket thinking nothing of it. I know iPhones now are waterproof to some degree, but
yeah.
So that was your what, sorry, number 7?
Yeah.
Okay. My number 6, last time I ranked Curse of the Werewolf as number 6. This time I have Fire Drill. I never laughed, like I laughed so hard on that. Like it was hilarious. It's such a good family ride. Kids will really enjoy it. But there was a point of that where I was just getting chucked a bucket on.
Yeah.
Oh my god. We did put a video up on his Instagram just saying like, yeah, you don't really get wet on this. And I don't think it showed the degree of like how soaked I was.
You dried pretty quick, didn't you?
But I was in like a sports dress, so I think that's right, dried quicker. Did not anticipate in getting soaked to that degree, but it was a good laugh, definitely. Very fun.
Okay, we're in number 6 then, I got Curse of the Werewolf.
Last time?
No, now.
What did you have last time?
I had Battle of Ministry last time.
Oh, right, okay. We don't know.
Yeah, so I had, we don't know. So I got Curse of the Werewolf there, and purely because of the length of it.
Blink and it's over.
Yeah, it's really short. I'm not going to spoil how the ride works, but like, and it doesn't spin as much as what we first anticipated, which we posted saying, a clip from his last podcast where we were on Instagram.
I was like, the spins.
The spins are really crazy. And then we had the 2.5. I can't remember his full name, so I'm sorry about that, mate. But he replied to us and said, he doesn't spin that bad.
Oh, I was like, 2.5 what?
Yeah.
But you're on about somebody's Instagram handle.
But yeah, it didn't spin nowhere near as much as what we did. If they feel like Guardians, it was long. If it was longer, it'd probably be way higher up on my list, because I actually really did enjoy the ride. Yeah, really good ride. Just the length of the thing just knocked it down for me.
So that was what, your number 6?
Yeah.
Number 5. So last time I had Hiccup's Wing Gliders as my number 5, and it is now Curse of the Werewolf. Exactly what Jake said. Like, the concept of that ride, so much fun, but it was shorter than Tron.
Yeah.
And that is a short ride. It did what it had to do. Like, I'm not going to give it away what it does, but and then it came stationary, and I was expecting like another launch or something, and then we just went into the loading bay, and I was like, I've been ripped off.
Like, the thing is, when we pulled into the station, my mum was with, no, it's not long enough.
I was like, is that it? We've been mugged off here.
Yeah, we rode it again though, because like I said, it's a good ride.
Yeah.
We rode it at night.
Yeah, and like you said, it doesn't spin as much. I think it spins based on your weight distribution in the ride. But yeah, it doesn't spin like it looked like it did on some people's TikToks.
So is that number 5?
Yeah.
I got Dragon Racer Rally, which last time I put Dragon Racer Rally 10th after ranking 11.
I thought you've already ranked Dragon Racers.
Nope.
Oh no, it's Fire Drill. Sorry, yeah.
So yeah, Dragon Racer Rally. Like I said, with the whole of Isle of Berk, I found each ride really unique, and I thought that was really unique. I've never been on anything like that.
There's similar rides, like you'll have seen them in the UK, where you're on a big arm and you're in a circle and you all face inwards, and the circle spins and goes upside down.
Yeah. And but then I thought this was way different to that. So yeah, just for that reason, and that was one of them where I think that the queue is going to be a bit hot.
Yeah, there's not much to look at either, and it's under shelter for a good proportion of it, but it will get a long wait time purely because you sat individually on your little dragon, and the loading and unloading takes a little bit of time. So I think that'll rack up wait time.
And I do think it's too short as well. To be fair.
It's quite short. But the wait time on that was 25 minutes for the entire morning, and that was like one of the longest things, and it's not on the Express Pass either, currently.
So, yes.
Number 4 then, I had last time Minecart Madness, and that is the same.
Oh, nice.
So cute, really enjoyed it. Great family coaster. The ride, mechanism, amazing. I don't really have anything bad to say about it, to be honest. Like the ride queue, loved it. It just something had to come forth. Yeah, so I've guessed correctly on that one.
My next one is Monsters Unchained, and mainly just because of I can feel the stare in the back of my head. I felt the head turn. Only because of the other things above it, I just ranked higher.
Okay. You're entitled to your opinion, but your opinion is wrong.
And rides like that, like I said, not going to spoil it, rides like that do make me feel a bit sick. I don't know if we said what it was similar to in the podcast.
And I think if we said that, it'd give it away.
Yeah, so rides like that make me feel sick. And it did make me feel sick when we did, because we rode it twice.
In a row.
And the second time it made me feel sick. And I'd already felt a bit queasy before going on it the last time.
So technically it's not that ride's fault.
No, it's not that ride's fault. And going back to the story, if they take the story from that ride and run it throughout the whole land, I think it would be insane.
They do, they just don't do it to the degree that you...
Yeah. So
you want it more in your face.
Yeah.
Number 3 then, I had Battle of the Ministry. Obviously don't know, so today... I'd love for this to be tied second, but for the sake of ranking. Hiccup's Wing Gliders. Oh my god, I nearly cried on that ride.
Yeah.
It's a family coaster, but it's so much better than Slinky Dog Dash. Not to compare with Disney, but just to give you a reference point. When that ride set off and I heard that score, I teared up.
Yeah.
It's so good. It is so good.
And I think, mine's obviously higher because we're in the top 3 now.
I just was smiling the whole way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was another one that we just rode twice in a row. I think we rode it 4 times yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
The whole day had a 5-minute wait time, which blew my mind.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, such a good ride. So we're in top 3 now, aren't we?
Yeah.
So my number 3
previously
was Hiccups.
Yeah.
I put number 4 when I did it, because I did 11.
Yeah.
And I put 4th Battle of the Ministry because that's where I thought it might fit. So going in terms of number 3 for me now is Minecart Madness.
Okay.
Which I ranked number 1 last time. Just mainly because it was really fun. I can see it getting up a massive wait time. And I don't think it would justify a massive wait time. In the thrill seeker of me, I thought that there were not that many thrilling elements.
It could have been faster.
Yeah, Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
could have been faster.
Yeah.
There was a couple of thrilling elements in it which made up for it, but then you kind of wanted a bit more.
Yeah, I hear that.
And like I felt like it wasn't really jumping.
Yeah, like
as
the
much.
water bit, right? You can see that from the outside.
Yeah.
It looks like it skims over water. What would have made that better is if the cart like tipped sideways on, like it was skidding across the water.
Yeah.
Like if the cart moved the same way it moves in Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, you know, it rocks a bit,
yeah.
like an actual mine cart.
Yeah.
That would have been, but maybe they couldn't have done that because of how it's on an arm.
But yeah, so I felt like it was just a bit of a, I don't know, maybe just not as thrilling as what I thought it could have been.
Yeah.
Which is not a shame, but like it was still good. It still got to number 3.
Yeah. Okay, top 2 then.
Okay.
My number 2. Last time I put Stardust Races, and I've stuck with that answer.
Number 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a dual racing coaster. You pick a side, yellow or green, which increases its rideability because you've got 2 tracks that are different.
Yeah.
Wow, that ride is incredible.
Yeah.
Go on it. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now. It's amazing at night. Amazing to do both sides and pick which you prefer. Personally, green. Which at the end of the night, green had the longest wait. There was no one in the yellow side. So if that says the majority of people that were there on opening day prefer green, I think so.
Which a lot of people before said yellow was the better side.
Yeah.
So
the only reason it's second is because, well, you know what my first is by now.
You may as well go into your first and I'll go first.
Yeah, I've just... it wasn't as fast as I was hoping it was going to be.
What's Starfall?
Yeah. After going from Velocicoaster, it's, in my opinion, it felt smoother, and the launches aren't as quick.
Yeah, you get that.
But it's still amazing. Like, out of Universal's coasters, like thrill coasters, that and Velocicoaster, obviously. Yeah. So, evidently, Monsters Unchained is my number 1, and I ranked it my number 1 before we went. I couldn't speak when I got off that ride.
Yeah,
all I just kept saying was like, my mind is... I don't want to spoil anything, but how do I explain this?
It's a bit difficult now to like...
Because it's a dark ride, you can't see anything from the outside. The story is immaculate.
Story's really good.
The animatronics are the best I've ever seen. There's so much going on, but without it being like, I don't know where to look. And those types of rides, Jake said, they normally make us feel sick. I didn't on this one. I felt like it was smoother, but you moved in a way that was like... You're controlled by someone at a certain point. I won't give it away, but like the way they moved and you correlated that movement, like, was fluid.
It was going on that, like the way that they controlled you, like in the story.
Yeah.
Like it was very true to the story. Like they could have done it the easy way, but they've not done it the easy way. They've done it the most immersive way.
Yeah. The ride queue is so much to look at. It's impeccable. Like that is everything I wanted in that dark ride and more. So yeah, Monsters Unchained is the greatest ride in Epic Universe, in my humble little opinion.
So my number 2 was Hiccup's Wing Gliders, which I put that as the ride that I thought was going to disappoint me the most. I thought that I was going to have my hopes up and it wasn't going to be amazing, which, it was. I mean, it's got to number 2 in my list. I thought it was amazing. For like a smaller coaster, I thought that it was thrilling enough for, let's say, for me to put it number 2.
Yeah. That's a good point. If you've got small kids that have never been on rides before,
be a really good coaster for them.
No, I'd say maybe start them on something a little bit tamer. Yeah.
I think, yeah. And
like if your child gets a bit upset on Slinky Dog Dash, don't take them on that.
Was there a kid crying on it?
Yeah, there was a kid crying on it.
Time.
When, oh, the poor girl.
Yeah. But yeah, storyline's amazing. Yeah, it's just a really good ride.
Yeah.
And
it's wholesome.
Yeah,
it's
really
so
wholesome. Like I say, the score with it being Isla Burke, amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, my number 1 is Starfall Races, which I put that number 2 last time.
Yeah.
Everything that Becky said, just the thrill seeker in me has kind of ranked it number 1. I think if I wasn't as much of a thrill seeker, I probably wouldn't. It still gives me the fear, but just not as much as a Velocicoaster.
He still didn't take his hand off at any point.
Yeah, still didn't take my hand off. But I felt safer on this ride than I did on Velocicoaster, which, like I say, everyone's comparing.
Same restraint.
Yeah, same restraint.
Yeah.
Which that's not a spoiler because.
Well, safety. You see the ride
vehicle
from outside.
I think they could put the same restraint on Velocicoaster. To be fair,
it is the same.
It's just like a bit thicker on where you over your lap, and yeah, just the whole dueling aspect of it is really cool.
I think everybody's seen the point across social, and you can see it here now.
Yeah.
There's a point where 2 tracks like intertwine.
Yeah.
You can literally reach for the other coaster, like
Don't
you
do that,
feel
though.
like you're gonna. No, you do. Like there's a photo of the cast, the team members, and like when the coasters cross over, they've tried to touch each other, and you can't. Obviously, they've tested all that, but like that point, wow.
Yeah, it's super good. So yeah, that's just number 1. But just because more than anything, because of the thrill. I think if there were no theming across any of the rides, then it probably.
The idea is you are a comet racing the other comet.
Yeah. So like the theming is nothing really for me, but yeah, that's my number 1.
So yeah, those are all our rides ranked. That is a brief overview of our
epic day.
Of grand opening of Epic Universe, 22nd of May 2025. It was incredible. Universal have absolutely nailed that theme park's opening. And I'm sure it'll be very, very successful in the years and years to come. But thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. If you agree, disagree, or are heading to Epic Universe anytime soon, let us know, and give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok, and make sure you give us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple or wherever you listen to your podcasts. But we are going to get changed.
So we've got to meet people in 13 minutes.
13?
Yeah.
I thought it was... Anyway. But yeah, we're going to go to Animal Kingdom, and then we have a reservation at Narcoossee's this evening. So I'm very excited for that. But yeah, thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.